Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to your Spring 2 novel study book, which we're looking at today is Incredible Journeys, Discovery, Adventure, Danger and Endurance by Levison Wood. And today we're going to be looking at Ibn Battuta. If I said that wrong, I'm really sorry. But a 25-year odyssey. So as you can see here, it's going to be over 2 pages, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely beautiful illustrations, but it's a lot of information. So please remember that if you need to at any point, all you need to do is pause this video and then just come back to me when you've caught up or you've read through it yourself as well. So I've been on some lengthy trips in my time. Walking through Central America took 4 months. Trekking the Himalayas was a 6-month journey, and travelling the length of the Nile was an epic 9 months. But this was really nothing compared to the adventures of a Muslim scholar named Battuta, which took him away from home for astonishing 25 years. In 1325, Ibn Battuta set out from his hometown of Tangier in Morocco, where he'd been born into a wealthy family of judges. He was going on the Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, and he chose the least used, longest route, which included following the Nile. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please can I remind you, as always, we do have the videos to reference back to if you can't remember some of the key facts from those, such as the Hajj there, or the Egyptians there, which will tell you some more about both of those topics. So please, if you'd like to, pause this video and have a little re-watch of those and then come back. Hello and welcome back. As I said, if you wanted to recap over the Egyptians or the Hajj, the videos are on the videos section of our website. So, as you can see here, it was a perilous journey, and trust me, I know all about it. Crocodiles lurking in swamps and the fierce Egyptian sun are equally difficult beasts. Ibn Battuta made it back to Mecca in one piece, and his appetite for adventure was certainly whetted. He visited Africa and Asia, studying Islam in Damascus and Mecca, where he returned to complete the Hajj for a second time. During this third Hajj, Ibn Battuta heard about the Sultan of Delhi, a powerful ruler with a reputation for generosity. Ibn Battuta set out to visit him. As you can see here, it was Ibn Battuta was beaten up by bandits, shipwrecked in storms, attacked by pirates, and was married many times over. At first, Ibn Battuta travelled with camel caravans, groups of camels and their handlers, along trade routes. Over time, he assembled his own team of servants and wives he met along the way. The group explored the great church of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, the snow-covered steppes of Russia, and the mountains of Afghanistan before crossing the treacherous Hindu Kush pass into India. Eventually, they reached Delhi and were welcomed into the court. The Sultan saw that Ibn Battuta was clever and hard-working and appointed him as a judge. Ibn Battuta continued to travel through and enjoyed writing about the strange animals that he'd encountered on the way, like rhinoceroses and hippopotamuses. In the Maldives, he stayed just long enough to marry a princess before carrying on east via Ceylon, modern-day Sri Lanka, finally reaching China in 1345. On arrival in the country, he had to have his portrait painted for security reasons, a bit like a passport photo before cameras. In 1346, Ibn Battuta decided to leave China and embark on the long journey home. He reached Morocco 3 years later, having been gone for almost 25 years. On his epic adventures, Ibn Battuta was beaten up by bandits, shipwrecked in storms, attacked by pirates, and was married many times over. We know this because he wrote the stories of the 120,000 kilometers he travelled in his book, showing us what life was like for the intrepid explorer in the 14th century. So as you can see here, it takes us along his journey, and as you can see, there's our location map. So you can see that he travelled places such as the Mediterranean Sea, the Caspian Sea, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, the South China Sea, the East China Sea, the Indian Ocean, and along towards Africa and other many beautiful places. As you can see here, it also shows us a key of his travels, so it's a timeline of his travels, ladies and gentlemen. So all the different places he travelled multiple times over. So Ibn Battuta's journey took him all over the world, from Africa to the Middle East, and then on to the Central and South Asia, and as far as China. He visited some of the world's most incredible cities, including Tripoli, Cairo, Jerusalem, Baghdad, Damascus, Djibouti, Kabul, and Delhi. He travelled to the islands of the Maldives, Sumatra, and Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka. And what is really incredible is that he managed all of this with the most basic transport imaginable. He boarded sailing boats, rode a donkey, horse, or camel, or sometimes even walked to travel about. Ibn Battuta and I have this in common. I also travelled in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, from lolloping on yaks in the Himalayas, which feels like riding on a big sofa, to the rickety boxes on top of the raging rivers, where you have to pull yourself across with a rope, making sure you don't look down into the rapids below. It's definitely more exciting when you're not confined by a car or a plane. So let's read through the 9 key points of his journey. 1. Ibn Battu's journey began in his home city of Tangier. He then travelled on to Tripoli, where Ibn Battuta married the daughter of a government official. He then followed down to Timbuktu, as we can see here, then on to Tripoli, Constantinople, Damascus, Cairo, Baghdad. 3. Ibn Battuta was very impressed with the beauty of the Syrian city of Damascus. He described it as a paradise and stayed for 24 days. He then moved on here to the Mecca or the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca 3 times, and then further on to Ibn Battuta visited the ancient town of Baghdad in Iraq and married at a glorious tiled bathhouse. Wow, look at that in there, what a stunning illustration. We then move on to number 6, where he then travelled 6 all the way down here to Kilwa, where Ibn Battuta described Kilwa as one of the most beautiful and well-constructed towns in the world. He then travelled all the way up, ladies and gentlemen, up here to Constantinople, which is the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, now Istanbul. It was a church when Ibn Battuta travelled there. It later became a mosque and is now a museum. Then we see that we travelled all the way in Delhi. The Sultan gave Ibn Battuta permission to live with a religious hermit in a cave for 5 months. Battuta got rid of all of his possessions and took on the clothes of a beggar. And finally, on to China. Ibn Battuta reached China in 1345. He admired how advanced the Chinese were. They were skilled at pottery and everyone wore silk, even poor monks and beggars. As you can see, he travelled a vast amount over 25 years, which is a long period of time. Like I say, as always, if you do have any questions or queries, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me, Ms. Jobbins, or your class teacher. And if you are going to do some of your own research, it would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget to upload it to Class Story, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure that you're using appropriate child safety websites. Good luck and speak soon. Bye.